Hi and welcome. Yes, I'm starting this video from inside a car, and that's not because I changed the main subject of this channel. No, it's indeed because I find that the plane that I'll be showing you today has a lot of things in common with the car I'm driving right now. I'm sitting in a Fiat 500 Electro. I'm sure you might have seen this car. It's pretty popular these days. It is tiny, it is affordable, it is economical, and it features that beautiful Italian design language. So in many ways it kind of shares its DNA with this. This is the Tecnam P2008JC Mark II. And you might have seen it before. I've been flying it privately in Switzerland. It's pretty popular with the flying clubs and the flight schools over there. And it is actually one of my favorite little GA airplanes out there. Want to find out why? Join me for the video then.
I filmed this pilot report near Munich, west of the Bavarian capital, at the small aerodrome of Jesenwang, which has an incredibly short 408-meter runway, which equals only 1,340 feet. So if you learn to fly here, you'll be able to fly up from almost everywhere. Based here is a flight school called Air Munich Aviation, and despite the small aerodrome, this is the biggest flight school here around Munich. Apart from the latest edition, their fleet mostly consists of Cessna 152s and 172s. If you wanted to learn to fly in the area around Munich in a professional environment, Air Munich Aviation is the right address for you.
And this is their new Tecnam. It is a certified airplane with a maximum takeoff mass of 650 kilograms. In the US, this airplane is also available as an LSA. However, the LSA will be limited to 600 kilograms and thus be a little more sparsely equipped. Now, like its bigger sister, the P2010, which I've been reviewing earlier here on this channel, it combines a metal wing and a metal stabilizer with a composite fuselage. The idea behind this concept is so that a dent that might occur in ground handling and that usually affects the wings or the stabilizers does not ground the airplane and doesn't require extensive maintenance action. Whereas the streamlined fuselage of course provides better aerodynamics and helps in giving you that nice ramp appeal. Up front you can choose between a 3-bladed prop, which the owner of this plane decided for, or the basic 2-bladed version. The owner presumably went for the 3-bladed prop because when operating out of such a short runway you need the extra performance there. Here's what makes the propeller spin. It's a carbureted Rotax 912S. It's kind of a, well, almost say a standard engine in this kind of class, in this category. What you cannot expect is extremely high cruise speeds with the 100 horsepower there, but the big advantage of the 912 is of course its economics and its simplicity.
As for most planes in this segment, this is built to be light, and you can somehow feel that. For example, when opening and closing the engine cowling or when operating the doors. Leaving a door open for a moment unmonitored in moderate or stronger wind conditions is a bad idea, for example. Compared to a 152, which this is designed to replace, this plane requires a little delicacy for it to be able to live a long and happy life. A real treat with the Mark II edition is its interior, the flight deck, but also these incredibly nice and comfortable leather seats. What's really weird though, that unlike in the earlier models of this plane, the seat back can't be tilted forwards anymore. So despite the fact that there's a lot of room in the back, you can't really access that room, and especially loading bulkier items is unnecessarily difficult.
Now before we set off for the flight, let me introduce you to Lorenzo. He's working as a full-time flight instructor here at Air Munich Aviation, and he will be helping me to show you the Tecnam today. Just a quick information here on the cabin dimensions. Compared to the 172 2 that the guys usually do their flight training in. This cabin is actually 20 centimeters wider, so it's a 122 centimeter wide cabin. I'll be posting you the conversion in inches down below. And what you see here is, as I said before, it's a Garmin Avionics suite. We have a dual Garmin G3X touchscreen. We have a nice audio panel with Bluetooth functionality down here. We have the COM and the transponder here. Up here you can see the annunciator panel. So it's all pretty tidied up, and there's additional engine instrumentation here and analog displays, but you still have all the information that you usually need on the screen there. So jokes not to go front line.
I won't cover much of the pre-flight here in this video. Starting the Rotax 912S is mostly as simple as starting a car engine. The rest of the pre-flight procedures are equally simple and easy for students. What's more difficult is taxiing the plane on ground. The nose wheel is a free castering, which means steering works using differential braking. Due to the relatively small wheelbase of the main wheels, this isn't too simple and it takes some getting used to. On the other hand, the plane can be turned in very tight spots once you get the hang of it. With the carbureted version of the 912 there is no ECU, so there's a simple 2-lane magneto check and a carburetor heat check. Let's go flying.
Alright.
So, approach sector is clear.
Can I have tech control?
You have controls. Street lights on. Yep.
There you go. Alright, on. Okay, the engine instruments are good in the green, the airspeed is alive. Alright, we have 40 knots there. And rotate that thing at 55. Climb the VX there. The 62. And you see on that short runway why you need the 3-bladed prop there with the trees coming quickly after departure. So we're clear, coming clear of obstacles. Selecting flaps up and we continue climb VY. And fuel pump off. Climb check flaps up. Climb power.
This flight took place on a warm October evening. Temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, a 5-knot headwind and a takeoff weight of about 600 kilograms with 50 to go to maximum takeoff weight. You can see for yourself there's not a lot of extra performance to play with here. Neither Lorenzo nor myself would be considered plus-sized people, and the combination of 2 heavier persons and full fuel means you'll be exceeding the weight limit. Combine that with a hot day and you'll say hi to the birds in those treetops at the departure end of the runway.
So good.
Right. So what's a little special about this plane as well is that the rudder is rather sensitive here in the climb. It does only need really small inputs to keep the ball centered there. Also, what I do enjoy from the first moment I've been flying this plane is controlling it with the stick. Those of you who are fans of the yoke, of course, it's a little up to you, whatever you prefer. But I really appreciate the stick there, and it's really sensitive, and you can easily fly it with 2 fingers. Especially in those calm wind conditions like today. It's a beautiful October evening here in the western bit of Munich. Now the big lake there in the front is the Lake Ammersee. There's two major lakes here in that region. It's Lake Starnberger See and the Lake Ammersee, and that's really a beautiful area here in the southern part of Germany. And there on the left wing is the city of Munich. What do you prefer, like the 172 or this Tecnam for your flight training?
The equipment and the instrumentation on this plane is fantastic. It's modern, it's intuitive, and it provides really all kinds of
great situational awareness. Especially, I love the synthetic vision there that you get with the Garmin screen.
And as a flight instructor, I can also confirm that on this plane because of the sensitivity of the rudder and on the trim. So the 2 points are really well learned on this machine. This machine
or like learning coordinated flight and
stick and rudder skills.
Perfect, very good. So now level here at 4,000 feet.
As promised, the P2008 isn't exactly a time machine in cruise. If you wanted to achieve true airspeeds above 100 knots, you will need to keep the rotax running at close to maximum continuous power. But on the other hand, this plane hasn't been designed to be a fast cruising cross-country machine, but to be economic for training. And looking at the fuel consumption, the plane does that job perfectly. And if you wanted to go for a trip, the cabin and the seats are comfortable enough to make the time on board a pleasant experience.
Let me do like 45 degrees there and add some power, of course. Also there you feel the rudder that's rather sensitive, but works nicely. A little climb right there at the moment.
In the steep turns, the Tecnam shows nice handling qualities. As mentioned, I love controlling this plane with this stick. Also the flight path marker that you might barely be able to see there on the video, which shows the vector on which the plane travels, is of great help there in the steep turn for your cross-check. This led to a conversation between the two of us whether all this instrumentation is really required for basic training, or if it might even be preferable for students to start on a classic 6-pack instrumentation instead of the glass panel.
With the students, there's always a good attitude to start with the analog, simulated analog, of course, because this can also simulate the old-fashioned, old-school analog indications. And they will start the cross-checks accordingly. Then we move forward to the digital further in the training.
So you always tend to switch that for training then?
At the beginning on the digital, on the analog.
Okay. All right, clearing turn there, and turn back to the right. You can see how smooth and calm the water down there is. I've been here last week. Tried to do some sailing, but it was too windy for that. It was like on the last weekend, but it's really calm today. Now what's, I mean, it's always a bit of a discussion. It's again a personal preference, but on the number of Rotax or of modern two-seaters that are certified with the high wing concept is really rather limited, and I prefer, so I've been flying both Pipers and Cessnas, but I just prefer the high wing. You can see everything down below. There's no wing blocking your view, and again, personal preference, but I like the high wing, which is another reason why I definitely love this plane.
Well, in addition, the 2008 lands almost itself.
By itself, it's true.
It's so
you feel the stick getting softer, and basically that's where the stall warning hit comes in, and then landing is basically done by itself, as you said. Right.
Speaking of the stall, time to check how the Tecnam behaves if you try to fly her too slowly. Remember my review of the bigger sister, the P2010? In the stall she usually drops a wing if you go too far. The P2008 has a very similar behavior and also shows the same tendency. So these two Tecnams are not as well behaved as other trainers in this category regarding slow flight. You'll be able to observe the same thing during the stall and landing configuration.
We can do the same thing in the landing configuration if you're fine with that. That's another thing that I need to mention. The flaps takeoff speed is also 72 knots, so it's actually rather slow, and for students it has well, how should I put it? Like a flap overspeed is something that can occur rather quickly in this Tecnam. So you really need to check the speed properly before applying the flaps there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, it shows that little tendency to be flaps takeoff.
This has been more gentle.
Yeah,
So
it is more gentle with when you configure. That's true. So speed flaps are now up and indicating. So, all right.
So what's the plan now?
I think we head back and maybe we can do one touch and go on the full stop landing then.
So we fly direct to our entry point, 2,500 feet
Exactly.
to the east.
This, what I wanted to say is the circuit altitude is rather low here in Jesenwang at 2,500 feet. So that's something that might look a little weird there on the camera, but it is actually published here at 2,500 feet. Unlike in the US, we have not only prescribed circuit tracks that we need to follow for noise abatement here in Germany, but also published circuit altitudes, which are not always just 1,000 feet above the aerodrome level there. Landing check is flap set for landing carburetor. This off landing check is completely
Okay.
and
Additionally,
60
parking
knots.
brake forward.
Sorry?
Parking brake here.
Is fully.
Yeah, perfect.
You do that as well on final check.
We
landing
added
check,
this
okay.
to the checklist.
Okay, we have 60 knots, which is our target speed. I aim before the threshold because the runway is so short actually, and we can do a touch and go there.
Yeah. If you wish, I will set the flaps for you.
Alright, you can do that. Throttle is idle. Alright, you go for the flaps and
Flaps take off. Set.
And we have 50 knots, rotate. Target speed is VX62. Again, with the tree line coming closer and closer. We go for VX, there it is, 64 it is I think, sorry.
Nice landing.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, this first landing went pretty well, but it's not only my piloting skills but also the Tecnam's easy and predictable handling characteristics, which allow you to perform stable approaches and lay down smooth landings easily. The only thing that you really want to avoid in this is coming in hot and high in the approach, because A, in clean configuration on a 3-degree glide path the speed won't really blow back. And again, B, the flap extension speed is pretty low at just 71 knots, even for the first notch of flaps. So you can't just lower the flaps for increased drag at higher speeds.
Check.
Oh, okay, the first one was better. Okay. Cavalcade brow, I guess, right?
Yep. Easily.
Before providing you with my conclusion about this plane, a big shout out and thank you to Lorenzo and the guys at Air Munich Aviation. I can truthfully recommend them to you if you're looking to become a pilot in southern Bavaria in the area around Munich. So if you wanted to learn to fly on this beautiful plane, check out air-munich.de. Link is also in the description below. Also a big thank you to my good buddy Hannes for helping me with the cameras and stuff.
Oh, while Lorenzo is shutting down, we skip forward to my little conclusion. Lorenzo, thank you so much for your time. It was a cool flight. Thanks.
It was fun.
So as I said in the beginning, this plane to me is kind of the modern Fiat 500 of the skies. It's not cheap because, like modern electric cars, a new certified airplane simply will never be cheap, but it is relatively affordable and it makes aviation available to more people. I find it very stylish, beautiful, and I love the way it flies with that stick there. Nevertheless, it is not as robust as a Cessna, and for example, which leads to a point deduction there in the flight school environment. Still, I'm a fan of this plane and I'm looking forward to the next flight in the P2008 already. Let me know your thoughts about this plane and my review in the comments. Would you like to do your flight training in this plane, or do you prefer old heavy metal? I'm curious to hear your opinion. If you like my work, you can reward me by clicking that thumbs up button and subscribe if you like it a lot. You could even go further and find out what that super thanks button there in the lower right hand column there does. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching all the way to the end and wish you, as always, many happy landings out there.